The question I want you to ask yourself today, my dear, is this. If there were a little child inside you listening to every word you speak to yourself, would that child feel safe with you? Would that child feel loved when you say, "I am so stupid"? Would that child feel protected when you stay in places where people keep hurting you? Would that child feel seen when you push down your tears and pretend you are fine? We often think our self-talk is private, that it only happens in the mind and disappears. But the body listens, the heart listens, the nervous system listens, and the inner child, that small, tender, emotional part of you, is still listening too. Every time you criticize yourself, that child hears it. Every time you ignore your feelings, that child feels abandoned again. Every time you betray yourself to keep someone close, that child learns, maybe I am not worth protecting. My dear, healing begins when you stop treating yourself the way the world once wounded you. There is a part of you that is still very young. It may not show itself in your adult face, your responsibilities, your work, your money, your achievements, or the life you have learned to manage. But it is there. It is the part of you that once needed to be held, listened to, protected, comforted, and told, you are safe, you are loved, you matter. It is the part that still remembers the tone of certain voices, the feeling of being misunderstood, the ache of being ignored, the fear of doing something wrong, the longing to be chosen, and the sadness of needing love that did not come in the way you needed it. This inner child holds old wounds, yes, but it also holds your joy, your imagination, your innocence, your softness, your ability to trust, your natural laughter, your wonder, and your original sense of life before you learn to protect yourself. When we speak of the inner child, we are speaking of the emotional memory inside you that still asks, am I safe now? Am I loved now? Will you stay with me now? You may be grown now. You may have a career, a home, a schedule, a strong face, and people who see you as capable. But capability does not always mean the inner child feels safe. You can be successful and still feel terrified of rejection. You can be independent and still panic when someone pulls away. You can look confident and still secretly believe you must be perfect to be loved. You can have a beautiful life outside and still have a little child inside who is waiting for someone to say, you do not have to earn love anymore. If this part of you is not healed, you may keep searching outside for what the child did not receive inside. You may people please, overgive, cling, control, apologize too quickly, sacrifice your needs, chase unavailable love, or stay where your heart is not honored. Not because you are weak, but because the child within you is still trying to finally receive the love it once missed. The child within you does not need you to be perfect. It needs you to be gentle and consistent. It needs to know that when you are sad, you will not shame yourself. When you make a mistake, you will not attack yourself. When you feel afraid, you will not abandon yourself. When you need rest, you will not call yourself lazy. When you are hurting, you will not tell yourself to get over it, as if tenderness is weakness. My dear, you cannot build a peaceful life if the smallest part of you still feels threatened. You cannot feel truly safe in love if you are cruel to yourself when love becomes uncertain. You cannot feel rooted in the world if the child within you believes it must perform to deserve protection. So place your hand on your heart and say, I see the child within me. I will not abandon you anymore. Let that sentence be the beginning of a new relationship with yourself. Now let us look at the first way many people hurt the inner child without realizing it. Self-criticism. Self-criticism often pretends to be discipline. It says, I am only trying to make you better. It says, if I shame you enough, you will improve. It says, if I call you weak, you will become strong. But to the inner child, self-criticism does not feel like guidance. It feels like being scolded. It feels like being shamed. It feels like being rejected by the one person who was supposed to finally protect it, you. When you say, I am so stupid, the inner child does not become wiser. It becomes afraid. When you say, why am I so weak? The inner child does not become stronger. It learns to hide its feelings. When you say, I never do anything right, the inner child does not become motivated in a healthy way. It becomes smaller, quieter, and more afraid to try. Imagine saying those words to a 3-year-old child. Imagine looking into that little face and saying, you are not good enough. You are so foolish. You should be better by now. Would that child blossom? Would that child feel free? Would that child trust you? No, my dear. And the child within you does not respond well to cruelty either. Self-criticism teaches the inner child that love must be earned through perfection. It says, you are acceptable only when you succeed. You are lovable only when you are impressive. You are safe only when you make no mistakes. And so the child becomes tense. It stops playing. It stops trying new things. It stops feeling free. It begins to live under the eyes of judgment, not only from the world, but from within. This is why many people feel exhausted even when no one else is criticizing them. Their own inner voice has become a place of danger. But you can change this. You can become the loving mother, the gentle father, the wise adult that the child inside you needed. Instead of saying, I am terrible, you can say, I am learning. Instead of saying, I am not enough, you can say, I am growing, and I am still worthy of love. Instead of saying, why am I like this? You can say, something in me needs compassion right now. Speak to yourself as you would speak to a frightened child. Say, you are learning. You do not need to be perfect to be loved. I am here with you. Say, it is okay to make mistakes. We will learn together. Say, you are not bad. You are healing. Say, I will not leave you when you are struggling. My dear, this is not weakness. This is how the inner foundation becomes safe. Encouragement grows what criticism only wounds. Kindness opens what shame closes. Love teaches what fear cannot. So today, begin the practice. When you catch yourself attacking yourself, pause. Put a hand on your heart. Imagine the little child inside looking up at you, waiting to hear whether you will wound or protect. Then choose protection. Choose tenderness. Choose a new sentence. Say softly, I stop criticizing myself. I speak to myself with kindness and love. The way you treat yourself today is the way your inner child learns whether it is finally safe to be loved. So let today be different. Let your voice become a home. Let your heart become a shelter. Let your inner child hear something new from you. I see you. I love you. I will protect you now. You do not have to be perfect. You do not have to hide. You do not have to earn my tenderness. I am here, and I am staying. Do you know what the next action is, my dear? It is to stop leaving your inner child alone with feelings that were never meant to be carried in silence. It is to stop telling that little one, "Do not cry," when tears are the very doorway to healing. It is to stop saying, "Be strong," when what the child inside you truly needs is not another command to survive, but a warm place to be held. Many people do not realize that emotional suppression can become a very quiet form of self-abandonment. You may think you are being mature when you swallow your tears. You may think you are being strong when you hide your sadness. You may think you are keeping peace when you push down your anger. But inside, the child is listening. The child hears, "My feelings are too much." The child hears, "If I want to be loved, I must be quiet." The child hears, "No one will sit with me when I hurt, not even me." And that is not what healing sounds like. Healing begins when you place a hand on your heart and say, "Tell me what you feel. I am listening now." When you say, "I must not cry," ask yourself, who taught you that tears were dangerous? When you say, "I should not be angry," ask yourself when you learned that anger made you unlovable. When you say, "It is not a big deal," even though something inside you is aching, ask yourself why your pain must become small before it is allowed to exist. My dear, feelings are not enemies. They are messengers. Sadness may be telling you that something mattered. Anger may be telling you that a boundary was crossed. Fear may be telling you that a part of you needs safety. Loneliness may be telling you that you need connection. Grief may be telling you that love had nowhere to go. If you silence every messenger, the inner child will stop trusting that you will protect it. It may begin to speak through tension, exhaustion, overthinking, sudden emotional outbursts, numbness, or anxiety that seems to come from nowhere. Suppressed feelings do not disappear simply because you ignore them. They wait in the body. They wait in the nervous system. They wait for the moment you finally become safe enough to feel. So create a little room inside yourself where emotions are allowed to pass through, not to control you, not to drown you, not to become your whole identity, simply to move. Write them down. Cry if tears come. Breathe into the chest. Place both hands over your heart. Name the feeling out loud. This is sadness. This is anger. This is fear. This is disappointment. This is loneliness. Naming a feeling is like turning on a small light in a dark room. Then ask the inner child, "What are you feeling? What do you need right now? If you were loved unconditionally, what would you want to say?" Do not rush the answer. The child within you may have been quiet for years. It may need time to believe that you truly want to listen. Say softly, "All my feelings are welcome. I can feel without judging myself." Let this be the beginning of emotional safety. You do not have to approve of every reaction. You do not have to act on every feeling, but you can stop punishing yourself for having feelings at all. The next way many people hurt the inner child is through comparison. Comparison seems so normal in the world. People compare beauty, money, love, talent, timing, success, healing, bodies, relationships, lifestyles, and even spirituality. You see someone succeeding and suddenly your own life looks smaller. You see someone loved and suddenly your heart says, "Why not me?" You see someone younger, richer, prettier, calmer, more admired, more accomplished, and you begin to speak to yourself as if your journey has failed. But my dear, every time you compare yourself with another person, the child within you feels that no matter how hard it tries, it is still not enough to be loved. It feels replaced. It feels criticized. It feels pushed into a race it never agreed to run. It feels as if you are standing beside it, pointing at someone else and saying, "Why can't you be like them?" And there is hardly any sentence more painful to a child than that. You did not come into this world to live another person's path. You did not come here to bloom on someone else's schedule. You did not come here to copy another soul's timing, body, gifts, lessons, relationships, or destiny. The flower does not look at the tree and say, "I am failing because I am not tall." The moon does not apologize because it shines differently from the sun. A river does not hate itself because it does not move like the ocean. Life is not asking you to become someone else. Life is asking you to become more lovingly yourself. So when comparison rises, pause and speak gently to the little one inside. Say, "We are not in their race. We are not late. We are not behind our own soul. Their path is theirs. Our path is ours." This does not mean you cannot be inspired by others. Inspiration opens the heart. Comparison closes it. Inspiration says, "If good can happen for them, perhaps good can happen for me too." Comparison says, "Their good means I am lacking." Choose inspiration. Release punishment. Say softly, "Their path is theirs. My path is mine. I honor my timing." Then add, "I am enough as I am. I honor my own journey." Another way we wound the inner child is by neglecting and punishing the body. The body is the only home your inner child has in this lifetime. When you treat the body as an enemy, the child inside loses the feeling of being sheltered. When you stay up night after night while the body is begging for sleep, the child hears, "Your needs do not matter." When you starve, over-control, binge, punish, or shame the body because it does not match the world's standards, the child hears, "This home is not lovable." When you flood the body with too much caffeine, sugar, stimulation, stress, or harsh habits because you are trying to escape your feelings, the child inside learns that comfort comes through neglect rather than care. And when you refuse to rest because you believe you must always be productive, the child feels as though love still has to be earned through exhaustion. My dear, your body is not a project to hate into perfection. It is a living home. It has carried you through every heartbreak, every morning, every night, every silent battle, every moment you thought you could not survive. It has breathed for you when you forgot to breathe deeply. It has held your pain when there was no safe place to put it. It has tried to protect you in ways you may not even understand. So begin caring for your body the way you would care for a small child. Give it water. Give it sleep. Give it food that feels kind. Give it softness. Give it movement that does not come from punishment. Give it a hand on the belly and a word of thanks. Give it rest before it collapses. Give it warmth. Give it forgiveness. You do not have to love every part of your body immediately. Begin by stopping the war. Begin by saying, "I am willing to treat this body with respect." Say softly, "My body is the home of my inner child. I care for it with tenderness and respect." Let the child inside feel that its home is becoming safer. And now we must speak about toxic relationships, because this is one of the deepest ways people unknowingly wound the inner child. When you stay where someone repeatedly belittles you, uses you, manipulates you, controls you, humiliates you, or makes you feel small, the inner child receives a painful message. I am not worth protecting. When you accept being disrespected because you fear being alone, the child inside says, maybe this is the only love I deserve. When you keep forgiving without real change, keep explaining your pain to someone who keeps repeating the same harm. Keep blaming yourself for another person's cruelty, or keep sacrificing your boundaries to preserve a connection that does not feel safe. The child begins to lose trust in you. It wonders, will you ever stand up for me? Will you ever choose my safety? Will you ever stop placing outside love above inner protection? This is not about hatred. Healing does not require you to hate anyone. It requires clarity. You can have compassion for someone's wounds and still not allow their wounds to keep cutting you. You can understand why someone behaves a certain way and still decide that your nervous system, heart, and dignity are not available for ongoing harm. You can forgive someone and still leave. You can love someone and still set a boundary. You can wish someone healing and still choose distance. This is how you protect the inner child, not with bitterness, but with truth. The child within you does not need dramatic revenge. It needs to know that you will not keep placing it in unsafe places and calling that loyalty. Say, I love myself enough to leave what keeps hurting me. If that feels too big, begin with, I love myself enough to tell the truth about what hurts. Then say, I protect the child within me. I choose relationships that feel safe, respectful, and loving. My dear, the love that requires you to abandon your own safety is not the love your soul came here to heal into. Another habit that keeps the inner child trapped is resentment and clinging to the past. Resentment often feels justified, and sometimes the pain behind it is very real. Someone may have hurt you deeply. Someone may have abandoned you, betrayed you, ignored you, shamed you, or taken from you something precious. I would never ask you to pretend that pain did not matter. But when resentment becomes the room you live in, the child inside cannot come out into the present. It remains in the old dark room, watching the same memory projected onto the wall again and again. You may keep asking, why did they do that to me? You may replay the moment. You may imagine what you should have said. You may want them to pay in your mind. You may use the pain as evidence that you cannot be happy, cannot trust, cannot open, cannot begin again. And little by little, your life force continues flowing into the past. Forgiveness, my dear, is not saying the wrong thing was right. It is not saying you must return to the person who hurt you. It is not denying the wound. Forgiveness is saying, I will not keep living inside the prison of this story. It is the decision to take the child within you out of the past and bring that child into the safety of now. You can say, what happened hurt me, but I will not let it own my future. You can say, I was wounded, but I am not only the wound. You can say, I release the old story. I take the child within me out of the past and bring them into safety now. Imagine yourself walking into that old memory, taking the hand of your younger self and saying, come with me. We do not live here anymore. This may take time. Do not force it. Release happens in layers. But every time you choose freedom over replaying the old pain, you give the inner child a new possibility. Say softly, I release resentment. I bring my inner child back to the present where healing is possible. The next wound is people-pleasing. This one is very quiet. and many people call it kindness. But people-pleasing is not the same as love. Love is generous, but it does not require self-erasure. People-pleasing says yes while the soul says no. People-pleasing smiles while the heart is tired. People-pleasing studies the room before it dares to have an opinion. People-pleasing sacrifices needs, rest, truth, and boundaries to prevent disappointment. And every time you say yes to someone else by saying no to yourself, the child inside hears, "No one is on my side." It learns that love must be purchased through sacrifice. It learns that being accepted matters more than being real. It learns that other people's emotions are more important than its own. My dear, this pattern may have begun as a survival strategy. Perhaps being agreeable kept you safe. Perhaps being useful brought affection. Perhaps having needs led to punishment. Perhaps disagreement led to withdrawal, anger, or shame. So please do not attack yourself for people-pleasing. Thank the part of you that tried to keep you safe, then teach it a new way. Begin with small no's, small truths, small choices that belong to you. I cannot today. I need time to think. That does not work for me. I feel differently. I need rest. The first time you disappoint someone and remain with yourself, your nervous system may shake. That is all right. You are learning that disappointment is not death. You are learning that being disliked is not the end of your safety. You are learning that love that depends on your self-betrayal is not true love. Say gently, "I can disappoint others without abandoning myself." Then say, "I no longer betray myself to be accepted. I choose myself with love." Healing the inner child is, in many ways, the process of releasing old messages and giving yourself new ones. Old messages may have lived inside you for years. I am not enough. I must be perfect to be loved. My feelings are a problem. I must please others. I am not worth protecting. If I tell the folk truth, people will leave. These messages may not have come as sentences at first. They may have come through silence, rejection, criticism, emotional absence, comparison, shame, or the feeling that love had conditions. But now you can become the one who speaks differently. You can say, "I am enough." You can say, "I am lovable as I am." You can say, "My feelings matter." You can say, "I can be loved without losing myself." You can say, "I protect myself now." You can say, "It is safe for me to be me." Do not underestimate the power of repetition. The old messages became strong because they were repeated with emotion. The new messages become strong the same way. Repeated with tenderness, repeated in the body, repeated when you are triggered, repeated when you make a mistake, repeated when you feel afraid, repeated when you look in the mirror, repeated when you are tempted to abandon yourself again. You are not trying to erase the child within you. You are not trying to become someone who never had a past. You are healing by becoming the adult that child always needed, the one who listens, the one who protects, the one who says no, the one who gives rest, the one who stops the cruel voice, the one who chooses safe love, the one who says you do not have to earn tenderness anymore. So, my dear, stop becoming the voice that once hurt you. Perhaps the world was unkind. Perhaps someone did not know how to love you. Perhaps your feelings were ignored. Perhaps your softness was mocked. Perhaps your needs were treated as too much. But today, you do not need to continue the wound from the inside. Do not scold the child anymore. Do not compare the child anymore. Do not abandon the child's feelings anymore. Do not place the child in unsafe relationships and call it love. Do not make the child perform for approval. Become the place that child can return to. Become the lap, the home, the warm hand, the steady voice, the safe room. Place your hand on your heart now and imagine that little one looking up at you. Say, I am sorry I spoke to you harshly. I am sorry I ignored your tears. I am sorry I compared you. I am sorry I kept you in places that hurt. I am sorry I made you please everyone to be loved. I know better now, and I will love you better now. Then breathe. Let the apology become a bridge. Let the love become a home. Say, you are enough. You are safe with me. Your feelings matter. Your body deserves care. Your path is your own. I will protect you. I will listen to you. I will not abandon you anymore. This is how healing begins, not by becoming perfect, but by becoming present. Not by never feeling pain, but by no longer leaving yourself alone in pain. Not by erasing the past, but by bringing the child within you out of the past and into the safety of your love. The way you treat yourself today teaches your inner child whether it is finally safe to be loved. So let your voice be gentle. Let your boundaries be clear. Let your body be cared for. Let your feelings be welcomed. Let your journey be honored. Let your heart become a place where the child within you can finally rest. And as you continue practicing, you will discover something beautiful. The child who once only knew fear begins to trust again. The child who once hid begins to shine again. The child who once believed love had to be earned begins to feel that love has been here within you, waiting to be offered. All is well in your world. My dear, sometimes the body holds what the heart was never given a safe place to express. It holds the tears you had to swallow because there was no one there to comfort you. It holds the words you wanted to say but did not feel allowed to speak. It holds the fear you pushed down because you had to keep going. It holds the grief you were too busy to feel, the anger you were taught to hide, the loneliness you learned to survive, and the memories the mind tried so hard to forget. Your body is not only the place where you live, it is also a living archive of everything you have carried, everything you have survived, and everything that still waits for love. This is why there are pains that do not seem to come only from muscles. There are tensions that are not only about posture. There are heavy places in the body that may feel as if they have a voice. A tight chest may be holding old heartbreak. A clenched jaw may be holding words you never said. A tired back may be holding years of responsibility. A heavy stomach may be holding fear, guilt, or emotions that had nowhere to go. And my dear, when the body finally begins to let go, the soul often begins to heal in a deeper way. So please, do not hate your body because it hurts. Do not call it weak because it is tired. Do not speak to it as though it has betrayed you. Perhaps it has been protecting you in the only way it knew how. Perhaps it has been saying, "You have been strong for so long. Could we put this down now?" When something happened too quickly, too painfully, too suddenly, or too alone, you may not have had the time, safety, or support to feel everything in that moment. So the nervous system may have chosen survival. It may have frozen, tightened, gone silent, or stored the emotion away so you could keep living. The body in its wisdom may have said, "We cannot process all of this now. Let us hold it until it is safer." And that was protection. That was not failure. But what once protected you can later become a burden if it is never released. The tension that once helped you survive may begin to drain your life force. The armor that once kept you safe may later keep out joy, intimacy, rest, softness, and freedom. Your body remembers what your mind tried to forget, but love can finally help it release. This is why listening to the body with love is so important. Not with panic, not with hatred, not with a desperate need to fix everything immediately. With tenderness, with curiosity, with the gentle understanding that the body is not against you. It has been trying to keep you safe. You may place your hand on your heart and say, "I listen to my body with love. I am safe to release what I no longer need to carry." Let the words move slowly. The body does not always relax when we command it. It relaxes when it begins to feel safe. Safety is not only a thought. It is a message carried through the breath, the tone of your inner voice, the way you touch yourself, the way you pause, and the way you stop fighting what is asking to be heard. You are not forcing the body to let go. You are creating an inner environment where letting go becomes possible. That is the difference. The body does not need another battle. It needs a home. Emotions become stuck when they cannot be felt, expressed, or completed at the time they arise. If you were frightened but had to pretend to be fine, the fear may remain in the body. If you were angry but were punished for speaking, the anger may sit in the jaw, throat, shoulders, or belly. If you were grieving but everyone expected you to move on quickly, the sadness may settle in the chest or the breath. If you were responsible for too much, too young, the shoulders may have learned to lift and brace as if life is always heavy. These are not strict rules, my dear, and we do not need to turn the body into a rigid map, but we can use these images gently as invitations. The body speaks in sensations: tightness, warmth, coldness, heaviness, trembling, fatigue, and sometimes pain. Even the fascia, the connective tissue that wraps through the body, can be imagined as a soft inner web that remembers tension, posture, protection, and the ways we have braced against life. Whether we speak scientifically, emotionally, or symbolically, the message is the same. The body participates in your history, and the body can participate in your healing. So begin by thanking it. This may feel strange if you have spent years criticizing your body, but it is a powerful turning point. Say, "Thank you, my body, for protecting me. I am safe now, and I allow old tension to soften." You may not believe it fully at first. That is all right. Speak it anyway, softly. The body has heard enough harshness. Let it begin hearing kindness. If the shoulders are tight, say, "Thank you for carrying what I thought I had to carry alone." If the throat feels closed, say, "Thank you for holding the words until I was safe enough to speak." If the chest feels heavy, say, "Thank you for protecting my heart when I did not know how." If the stomach is tense, say, "Thank you for warning me when I felt unsafe." These words are not meant to replace wise care, rest, movement, therapy, medicine, or support when they are needed. They are meant to change the relationship. Healing begins when the body is no longer treated like an enemy. There is a cost to holding for too long. The emotions you do not process still require energy to keep contained. It takes energy to hold the jaw tight. It takes energy to keep the breath shallow. It takes energy to keep the shoulders lifted, the stomach clenched, the heart guarded, and the mind constantly thinking so nothing deeper can be felt. Overthinking can make the head feel heavy. Unspoken truth can make the throat feel blocked. Too much responsibility can pull the shoulders inward. Heartbreak can tighten the chest. Fear, guilt, and old shame can make the belly and hips feel tense. And when the body is always wearing old armor, it becomes difficult to feel light in the present. Even when life is calmer now, the body may still be living as if the old danger is near. This is why you must not scold yourself for not relaxing immediately. Relaxation is not always a switch. Sometimes it is a conversation repeated over time. You do not need to force the body to release everything today. In fact, forcing is often another form of control, and the body may respond by tightening more. You only need to create enough safety within yourself that the body no longer has to grip so hard. A slow breath can be safety. A kind word can be safety. A warm hand on the heart can be safety. A truthful journal page can be safety. A gentle walk can be safety. A moment of crying without shame can be safety. A boundary can be safety. Rest can be safety. You may say, I no longer need to hold the past in my body. I release gently, safely, and lovingly. The word gently matters. The word safely matters. The word lovingly matters. We do not rip the past out of the body. We invite the body to realize that the present is different now. Let us begin with the head and forehead, because many people carry so much control there. The head often becomes the place where we try to know everything, understand everything, prevent everything, predict everything, and stay one step ahead of pain. You may feel pressure in the forehead, heaviness in the head, tension around the eyes, racing thoughts, sleeplessness, or the sense that the mind never stops. Often, this comes from a belief that if you think enough, you will be safe. If you analyze enough, you will not be hurt. If you predict every outcome, you will not be surprised. If you stay mentally prepared, nothing can fall apart. But my dear, you do not need to think enough to deserve safety. Some things cannot be solved by more thinking. Some things need surrender. Some things need trust. Some things need to be written down and taken out of the mind. Some things need to be placed in the hands of life. Place your hand gently on your forehead and breathe slowly. Imagine the muscles softening. Imagine the thoughts loosening, like clouds moving across the sky. Ask yourself, does this need to be solved right now? If the answer is no, let it wait. Write down what is circling in the mind so the head does not have to hold it all. Let the page become a container. Let the breath become a doorway. Let life become a partner. Say, I release the need to control everything. My mind is calm, clear, and supported by life. And as you say this, remember, you are not giving up your wisdom. You are releasing the exhausting belief that you must control everything to be safe. Your mind can rest. Your body can soften. Your soul can begin to heal. Let us continue with the neck and throat, because this is the place of truth, communication, expression, and the right to have a voice. The throat can hold so much, my dear. It can hold all the times you said, I'm fine, when your heart was breaking. It can hold the apology you gave when you were the one who was hurt. It can hold the boundary you wanted to speak but swallowed because you feared conflict, rejection, abandonment, punishment, or being misunderstood. It can hold the tears that rose but never fully came. It can hold anger that turned inward because you were taught that being good meant being quiet. And over time, the body may begin to express what the voice could not. You may feel a lump in the throat, tightness in the neck, tension across the shoulders, a feeling of being choked, breath that becomes shallow when you try to tell the truth, repeated throat discomfort, or the strange sense that your voice disappears exactly when you need it most. We do not use these meanings to diagnose ourselves or frighten ourselves. We use them as gentle invitations. The question is not, what is wrong with me? The question is, what truth in me has been waiting for a safe place? Your truth does not need to be shouted to be valuable. It can be spoken calmly, kindly, and clearly. Sometimes healing begins not with a dramatic confrontation, but with one small, honest sentence. That hurt me. I need time. I do not agree. I cannot carry this. I need rest. This is what I feel. You can begin in a journal if speaking. Aloud feels too hard. Write, the words I never said are, and let the page receive what your throat has carried. You can hum softly, sigh with sound, breathe slowly into the belly, and let the exhale open the throat like a window. You can stretch the neck gently, not forcing, only inviting. And as you do, say, it is safe for me to speak my truth with love. My voice matters. Let the body hear that truth can be peaceful. Let the throat learn that expression does not always lead to danger. Let your voice return little by little. Now bring your awareness to the shoulders and upper back, the place where so many people carry responsibility. My dear, if your shoulders are often lifted, tight, heavy, or rounded forward, ask them what they have been carrying. Perhaps they have carried family expectations. Perhaps they have carried work pressure. Perhaps they have carried the emotions of people who never learned how to hold their own. Perhaps they have carried the role of being strong, capable, available, silent, and useful. Many people live with a hidden belief. I must do everything myself. I must not need help. I must stay strong. I must not disappoint anyone. And the body listens. The shoulders rise as if preparing to carry bags that are not even visible. The upper back becomes tired from years of being the pillar. The neck becomes tense from holding together what the soul wanted to lay down. But my dear, you were not born to carry the whole world alone. Adulthood does not mean silent suffering. Love does not mean becoming the storage room for everyone else's unfinished life. Strength does not mean never needing support. Sometimes true strength is the courage to say, this is too much for me to carry alone. Sometimes healing is asking for help without shame. Sometimes healing is saying no before resentment begins to grow. Several times a day, let your shoulders drop on purpose. Breathe out and imagine old sacks falling from your back onto the ground. Ask, which burdens are truly mine? Which burdens did I pick up because I thought love required me to suffer? Which burdens belong to someone else's growth? You do not need to abandon people to stop carrying what is not yours. You can love with open hands instead of a collapsed spine. Say softly, I release burdens that are not mine. I am supported by life. Feel the word supported. Let it enter the upper back. Let it remind the strong one inside you that support is not weakness. You are allowed to be held too. Now let us move to the chest and heart area. This is such a tender place, my dear, because the heart knows both the sweetness and the ache of love. The chest can hold heartbreak, betrayal, disappointment, grief, abandonment, the fear of loving again, and the quiet ache of wanting closeness while also fearing pain. You may feel tightness, heaviness, a difficulty taking a deep breath, a sensation that the heart is wrapped in something, or the feeling of wanting to cry but being unable to let the tears come. You may notice that part of you longs to be loved, while another part quickly builds a wall when love comes near. This does not mean your heart is broken beyond repair. It means your heart has been wearing armor for a long time. Armor is not evil. Armor was once protection. It may have helped you survive a loss, a betrayal, a childhood wound, or a love that did not know how to hold you. But armor that stays too long can also keep out the warmth you now desire. Healing does not mean ripping the armor away. Healing means letting the heart know we will open slowly. We will not force trust. We will not punish ourselves for being guarded. We will create safety from within first. Place your hand on your heart and breathe as if the breath could gently touch the space beneath your palm. If tears come, let them come. Tears are not weakness. Tears are water moving through the inner garden. They soften what has been dry. They help the body release what words cannot always reach. Speak to your heart like a child who has been hurt. I know you are afraid. I know you have loved and lost. I know you have been disappointed. I am here now. I will not force you to open before you are ready. You may use gentle, heart-opening movements, soft stretches, or simply the warmth of your own hand. Never push the body beyond what feels safe. Say, my heart is safe with me. I allow old heartbreak to soften and release. Let this be a promise. Before you ask another person to make your heart feel safe, become a safe place for your own heart. Now bring kindness to the abdomen and hips, the deep center of survival feelings, instinct, fear, guilt, anger, and emotions that may live below words. Many people feel stress in the stomach. The belly tightens before a difficult conversation. Digestion changes when the nervous system feels unsafe. The hips become rigid, the pelvis guarded, the lower body braced. Again, we do not reduce the body to only one meaning, and we always honor practical care when the body asks for it. But symbolically and emotionally, the belly and hips often speak about safety. They ask, am I allowed to relax? Am I held by life? Can I trust the ground beneath me? Can I stop bracing for danger? If you have lived for a long time in survival energy, the belly may not know how to soften easily. It may feel as though relaxing is risky. It may believe that holding tight keeps you protected. So do not command it to let go. Invite it. Place a warm hand on your abdomen and move in slow circles. Breathe down into the belly without forcing the breath. Feel the ground beneath you. Let the body know that this is now, not then. If gentle hip opening feels safe, move slowly, with respect. If the body wants to shake, sway, stretch, dance, or make small intuitive movements, allow the old energy to move through instead of staying frozen. Movement can be a language of release. Ask, what emotion have I been holding here too long? perhaps fear, perhaps guilt, perhaps old anger, perhaps the memory of not feeling safe. Whatever comes, do not shame it. Let it be seen. Say, I am safe in my body. I release fear, guilt, and old survival energy with love. This is a profound sentence. It tells the body, we do not need to clench in order to exist. We do not need to stay guarded every moment. We can be here. We can breathe. We can belong to this moment. The healing process begins with recognizing, not attacking. Many people treat pain, tension, or emotional discomfort as an enemy that must be silenced immediately. Of course, when something hurts, you want relief. That is natural. But there is a deeper way to relate to the body. Instead of saying, go away, ask, what are you trying to tell me? Instead of saying, I hate this part of me, ask, what emotion needs to be seen? Instead of saying, why can't I be normal? Ask, what need have I ignored for too long? The body is a messenger. Sometimes the message is practical. Sleep, water, movement, medical support, nutrition, rest, help. Sometimes the message is emotional. Grief, anger, truth, boundaries, safety, softness. Sometimes the message is spiritual. Trust, surrender, forgiveness, returning to yourself. You do not need to understand everything at once. Begin by listening patiently. Say, I listen to the messages of my body with patience and love. Patience is important because the body may not reveal everything immediately. It may speak in small layers. One day you notice the throat tightens when you say yes but mean no. Another day you notice the shoulders rise when you feel responsible for someone else's mood. Another day you notice the belly clenches when you imagine being judged. This noticing is not small. Awareness is the beginning of release. Then comes acceptance. Old emotions need a safe space to rise without being judged. If you cry, do not call yourself weak. If sadness comes, do not call yourself negative. If anger appears, do not call yourself bad. If the body trembles, tightens, or reacts, do not shame it. It may be completing something that could not be completed before. Acceptance does not mean drowning in emotion forever. It means you stop pushing the emotion back down with self-hatred. You let it move through. You say, this feeling is here, and I can hold myself while it passes. You create the inner parent you may not have had in the moment the pain began. You say, all parts of me are welcome. I do not need to exile my own heart. This is not indulgence. This is integration. The emotion that is allowed to move can change. The emotion that is shamed often hides and returns as tension, projection, overthinking, or fear. Say, all my feelings are welcome. I can hold myself with compassion. Let this become a soft room inside you. You do not have to act on every feeling. You do not have to believe every feeling. But you can allow feelings to be present without making them your enemy. Compassion is what tells the body it is safe to stop storing this alone. Then comes letting go. And letting go is often misunderstood. Letting go is not forcing yourself to forget. It is not saying, I am over it, when your body still trembles. It is not rushing forgiveness. It is not spiritual performance. Letting go is a whole body process made of breath, movement, emotion, truth, safety, and loving repetition. Sometimes letting go looks like shaking the hands and arms gently after a stressful moment. Sometimes it looks like dancing freely in a room with no audience. Sometimes it looks like a long exhale with sound, letting the throat open. Sometimes it looks like crying into a pillow and finally allowing the water to move. Sometimes it looks like writing the letter you will never send. Sometimes it looks like a nap. Sometimes it looks like saying no. Sometimes it looks like going for a walk and letting the legs remind you that life can move forward. After the body releases, use words to reprogram the mind. Say, I release what my body has held for too long. I am safe to be free. This is how you create a new pattern. The body lets go of old energy, and then the mind gives it a new direction. You are not only emptying pain, you are filling the inner space with love, safety, and a new belief. My dear, when the body lets go, life force returns. This is one of the most beautiful things. The energy that was used to hold the jaw, tighten the shoulders, guard the chest, clench the belly, and freeze the hips can begin to flow again. You may feel more breath, more warmth, more tears, more creativity, more softness, more truth, more ability to rest, more ability to feel joy in small things. The soul is no longer trapped behind so much old armor. It begins to remember freedom. But please do not rush this. Do not demand that your body heal on your schedule. Do not hate the area that hurts or tightens. Thank it. Thank the throat for holding your words until you were ready. Thank the shoulders for carrying you through seasons when you felt alone. Thank the heart for protecting love when love felt unsafe. Thank the belly and hips for helping you survive when the world did not feel steady. Then tell the body, we are creating a new safety now. Safety through breath, safety through boundaries, safety through movement, safety through tears, safety through rest, safety through truth, safety through love. Your body is a mirror of the mind, the emotions, and the history you have carried, but it is also a doorway into healing. When you listen to it, bless it, move with it, and stop fighting it, the old holding begins to soften. And little by little, the body learns what the soul has been longing to know. The past is over, love is here, and it is safe to come home to yourself. My dear, let us gently remember the whole lesson. Your body is not your enemy. It is a loving messenger, holding what your heart once could not safely express. The head and forehead may hold overthinking, control, pressure to know everything, and the fear of not being prepared. When this area feels heavy, your soul may be asking you to stop solving life only with the mind and begin trusting life again. The neck and throat may hold words you never said, truth you swallowed, boundaries you were afraid to speak, and emotions hidden behind "I'm fine." Healing here begins when you allow your voice to matter. The shoulders and upper back may hold responsibility, family pressure, work stress, and the belief that you must carry everything alone. Healing begins when you ask, what is truly mine to carry? The chest and heart may hold heartbreak, betrayal, grief, abandonment, and fear of opening again. Your heart is not broken. It has simply worn armor for too long. The abdomen and hips may hold survival, fear, guilt, anger, insecurity, and old emotional memories. Healing begins when the body learns, I am safe now. So do not ask only, what is wrong with me? Ask, what is my body trying to tell me? Breathe, listen, soften, write, Cry, move gently, rest, set boundaries, speak kindly. You do not need to force release. You only need to create safety. And when the body finally lets go, the soul begins to remember freedom. Your mind is like a bowl, my dear, and every day, whether you notice it or not, something is being poured into it. Sometimes love is poured in, sometimes hope, sometimes faith, sometimes a kind word, a peaceful breath, a gentle memory, a beautiful possibility. And then, without even realizing it, fear may also be poured in, self-criticism, worry, shame, comparison, old conversations, old disappointments, the voice of someone who once made you feel small, the memory of a mistake that still asks to be forgiven. And if the bowl of the mind becomes filled with everything, if it holds every fear, every harsh judgment, every anxious possibility, every thought that knocks on the door, then very soon you may begin to feel heavy inside. You may wonder, why am I tired? Why do I feel tense? Why does my heart feel small? Why does life feel more difficult than it should? But perhaps it is not that life is asking too much of you in this moment. Perhaps your mind has been accepting too much that was never meant to live there. My dear, not every thought that passes through your mind deserves to stay. This is a very powerful truth. You are allowed to choose. You are allowed to pause at the doorway of the mind and say, "No, this thought does not support me." You are allowed to say, "This thought may be loud, but it is not loving. It may be familiar, but it is not healing. It may come from an old wound, but I do not need to build my life around it anymore." Your mind is not a trash can for every fearful thought that knocks on the door. Just breathe with that for a moment. Your mind is sacred. Your inner world is not meant to be a place where every fear can throw itself down and stay for years. You do not need to control the entire outside world before healing can begin. Sometimes healing begins in a much quieter place. It begins when you decide which thoughts are allowed to take root inside you. Many people believe that if a thought appears, it must be true. They think, if I am thinking it, then it must mean something important. If I fear it, perhaps it will happen. If I judge myself, perhaps I deserve the judgment. But a thought is not always truth. A thought can be a habit. A thought can be an old memory. A thought can be a fear trying to protect you. A thought can be a program you learned when you were young. A thought can be a voice you borrowed from someone who did not know how to love you well. You are not every thought that appears in your mind. You are the awareness that can notice the thought. You are the presence that can choose. You are the gardener, not every seed that falls into the soil. And as the gardener of your mind, you do not need to water every seed. If a seed of fear falls there, you can notice it and say, "I see you, but I will not feed you." If a seed of shame appears, you can say, "This is old pain speaking. I will not build my identity from it." If a seed of love appears, you can give it light. You can give it attention. You can let it grow. A mind that is not tended becomes overgrown with whatever lands there. But a mind tended with love becomes a garden. Not perfect, not always silent, but alive, cared for, and guided. So you may begin with one simple practice. Ask, does this thought nourish me? Not, Is this thought familiar? Not. Have I believed this for many years? But, does this thought nourish me? Does it support the life I am trying to create? Does it bring me closer to peace, clarity, courage, love, or healing? If the answer is no, you do not have to fight the thought. You do not have to wrestle with it for hours. You can simply stop feeding it. You can choose another direction. You can say, I choose thoughts that nourish me, support me, and bring me peace. Now, this does not mean you deny reality. A supportive thought is not a fake thought. It is not pretending everything is wonderful when your heart is hurting. A supportive thought may be very gentle and very real. This is difficult, but I can take one step. I am afraid, but I am not alone inside myself. I made a mistake, and I can learn. This feeling is painful, but it will move through me. I do not know the whole path, but life can guide me. These thoughts do not lie. They simply hold you with more love. And love is the atmosphere in which healing becomes possible. There is also something very human about the way the mind reaches for negative thoughts. You do not need to hate yourself for that. The ancient brain was designed to watch for danger. It learned to notice what might hurt you faster than what might bless you. Long ago, this helped human beings survive. The mind had to notice the threat, the sound in the dark, the sign of danger, the thing that could harm the body. So even today, the mind may hold tightly to one criticism while ignoring 10 kind words. It may remember one rejection more strongly than many moments of love. It may replay one mistake while forgetting all the ways you have grown. This is called survival, my dear, but it is not always healing. Do not hate the mind because it looks for danger. It is trying to protect you with an old method, but now you can teach it a new way to live. You can say, thank you for trying to protect me, but we are safe enough to choose love now. You can remind the mind that not every uncertainty is danger. Not every silence is abandonment. Not every mistake is disaster. Not every difficult feeling is a sign that life is falling apart. My mind may look for danger, but my soul can choose love. This is where the gatekeeper comes in. Imagine a kind, wise gatekeeper standing at the doorway of your mind. Every thought that arrives must pause there. The gatekeeper does not panic. The gatekeeper does not open the door to everything. The gatekeeper simply asks, does this thought support her? Does this thought help her heal? Does this thought bring her back to love? Does this thought help her act with wisdom? Or does it only make her smaller? A thought arrives and says, you are not good enough. The gatekeeper says, no, you may not enter and live here. Another thought arrives and says, you are learning. You are growing. You can be gentle with yourself. The gatekeeper says, yes, you may come in. A thought says, something bad will happen. The gatekeeper asks, is this guidance or fear? A thought says, you can handle today one breath at a time. The gatekeeper smiles and opens the door. This is what it means to accept only thoughts that support you and make you feel good. It does not mean you only think sweet things. It means you choose thoughts that strengthen your spirit instead of poisoning it. You choose thoughts that guide you instead of punish you. You choose thoughts that help you return to yourself. You are the gatekeeper of your mind. You choose what may enter and what must pass by. And my dear, this choice can begin today. Not perfectly, not all at once, just gently. When one harsh thought comes, pause. When one fear knocks, pause. When one old story begins playing, pause. Ask, do I want this living in my bowl? Do I want to water this seed? Do I want to open the door to this thought? Then choose again. One loving thought at a time, the mind becomes softer. One supportive thought at a time, the inner atmosphere changes. One peaceful thought at a time, you stop making your mind a home for fear and begin making it a garden for healing. Let me share something personal with you, my dear. There was a time when I did not understand how much power one thought could have. I thought thoughts were just thoughts. They came, they went, they made noise, they filled the day, and I simply believed I had to live with whatever passed through my mind. If a fearful thought came, I followed it. If a harsh thought came, I believed it. If an old memory came, I let it pull me back into yesterday. If shame came, I sat with it as though it were the truth of who I was. And then, little by little, I began to understand something very healing. Not every thought deserves my agreement. Not every thought deserves my attention. Not every thought deserves to be repeated, watered, decorated, and allowed to become a room inside my inner house. Your mind is a sacred place, my dear. It is not a trash can for every fearful idea that knocks on the door. It is not a storage room for every cruel sentence you have ever heard. It is not a prison where old pain must keep repeating itself forever. Your mind can become a garden, but like every garden, it must be tended with love. And tending the mind does not mean forcing yourself into fake positivity. This is very important. Choosing better thoughts does not mean you deny pain. It does not mean you pretend everything is fine when your heart is aching. It does not mean you smile over a wound and call that healing. That is not healing. That is performance. True healing is honest. It can say, "This hurts." It can say, "I am afraid." It can say, "I do not know what comes next." But it says these things while still standing on your side. A supportive thought is not a thought that runs away from reality. A supportive thought is a thought that helps you walk through reality without hurting yourself more. So instead of saying, "This does not hurt," you might say, "This is painful, and I can be gentle with myself." Feel the difference. The first sentence denies your heart. The second sentence holds your heart. Instead of saying, "I am never afraid," you might say, "I feel fear, and I can still choose peace." The first sentence fights the truth. The second sentence gives you strength within the truth. This is what it means to choose thoughts that support you. It means you stop adding cruelty to pain. You stop turning a difficult moment into proof that you are broken. You stop allowing the mind to use suffering as a weapon against your own soul. You begin to say, "I will tell the truth, but I will tell it with love." Imagine again that bowl within you. Each day, thoughts are poured into it. Every time you repeat, "I am not enough," you pour into the bowl of fear. Every time you say, "I always fail," you pour into the bowl of defeat. Every time you compare yourself with someone else and decide you are behind, you pour into the bowl of lack. Every time you replay an old mistake and punish yourself again, the negative bowl becomes heavier. And then there is another bowl, the bowl of healing. Every time you say, "I am learning," you pour into it. Every time you say, "I can begin again," you pour into it. Every time you acknowledge one thing you did well, one moment of courage, one small step, one breath of gratitude, the bowl of healing becomes fuller. Every time you bless your body instead of attacking it, every time you speak gently to your frightened heart, every time you choose one thought that helps you rise instead of shrink, something inside you becomes lighter. What I repeat, I strengthen. What I bless, I grow. Let that be a quiet law of the inner life. What you repeat becomes familiar. What becomes familiar begins to feel true. And what feels true begins to shape your choices. This is why it matters how you speak to yourself. Not because one thought controls everything, but because repeated thoughts become the weather inside you. If the weather inside you is always criticism, shame, fear, and comparison, then of course the soul becomes tired. Of course the body tightens. Of course the heart becomes guarded. But if the weather begins to change, even slowly, you begin to live differently. A little more warmth, a little more kindness, a little more space, a little more belief that you are allowed to heal. One of the first mental benefits of accepting only supportive thoughts is that self-worth begins to grow again. Self-worth does not grow well in a mind that attacks itself all day. Imagine trying to raise a child by criticizing her every morning, every afternoon, every night. Imagine telling her, "You are not enough. You always make mistakes. Everyone else is better. You should be ashamed." Would she become confident? Would she feel safe? Would she trust her own life? No, my dear. She would begin to hide. And many adults are still living with that inner child hiding inside them because the voice in the mind has never become kind enough for the heart to relax. When you begin speaking to yourself with love, something in the inner child lifts its head. Something in you says, "Maybe I am not in danger here. Maybe I am not my own enemy anymore." This is how self-worth starts to return. Not through one grand declaration, but through the daily refusal to speak to yourself like someone you despise. You begin to say, "I am allowed to be learning. I am worthy even when I am imperfect. I can make a mistake and still belong to love. I do not have to earn the right to be kind to myself." And when you create that sense of being loved from within, you no longer need the outer world to constantly prove that you have value. You still enjoy love. You still appreciate kind words. You still welcome encouragement. But you do not collapse every time someone does not clap. You do not hand your identity to every opinion. You do not make one person's silence the measure of your worth. Anxiety also begins to soften when the mind is no longer building frightening stories all day and asking the body to react to them. The body does not always know the difference between a real danger and a story you repeat with enough emotion. If the mind says everything will go wrong, the body may tighten. If the mind says they will leave, the body may brace. If the mind says, "I cannot handle this," the body may believe it is unsafe. But if the mind begins saying, "one step at a time," the body receives a different message. If the mind says, "I can breathe through this," the body softens. If the mind says, "This is difficult, but I am supported," the nervous system begins to hear safety. You may not become peaceful instantly, but the direction changes. You may say softly, "I speak to myself with love, and my self-worth grows stronger every day." Not as pressure, not as a performance, just as a gentle reminder of the new atmosphere you are creating. Another beautiful benefit is that supportive thoughts expand your creative perspective. When the mind is filled with negativity, it becomes narrow. It sees danger first, It sees limitation first. It sees the closed door, the old mistake, the reason it cannot work, the proof that you are not ready. Fear makes the mind contract. It says, stay small, do not try, do not risk, do not speak, do not hope too much. Love opens the mind. When you choose supportive thoughts, you begin to see new options. A problem becomes something that may have a solution. A mistake becomes something that may contain a lesson. A delay becomes something that may be protecting timing. A closed door becomes a direction, not a death sentence. You begin to ask better questions. What is possible here? What can I learn? Who can help? What is the next kind step? What if life is not against me? Creativity needs space. It cannot breathe when every corner of the mind is filled with fear. If the mind is always saying, no, impossible, too late, not you, not enough, then new ideas have no place to land. But when you choose loving thoughts, the inner field opens. New possibilities begin to reveal themselves. Not because you are forcing magic, but because you are no longer blocking your own perception with despair. As I choose loving thoughts, new possibilities reveal themselves to me. Let that be a soft opening. A loving thought may become the doorway to a new choice. A new choice may become a new path. A new path may become a new life. And the benefits are not only emotional or mental. The body hears your thoughts. The body lives inside the atmosphere of your mind. Yes, the body responds to food, sleep, movement, sunlight, and environment, but it also responds to the way you speak to yourself. If you criticize yourself all day, the body may feel as though it lives with someone who is always attacking it. The shoulders tighten, the jaw locks, the breath becomes shallow, the stomach becomes tense. The body prepares, defends, contracts. When you choose gentler thoughts, the body begins receiving a different signal. I am safe with myself. I do not have to fight my own mind. I can soften. I can rest. I can heal. The nervous system begins to feel less threatened from within. And when the body feels safer, it can move more easily into repair. Breath deepens. Sleep may become more restful. Emotions may digest instead of staying trapped. Energy may return because the body is no longer using so much strength to protect you from your own inner voice. Place a hand on your heart for a moment. Let your shoulders drop. Let your jaw soften. Breathe in gently and say, my body relaxes when my thoughts are kind. Feel how simple that is. It is not a demand. It is a truth you are teaching the body. Kind thoughts are not only pleasant, they are medicine. Your thoughts also affect your energy. Every thought is not just a sentence in the mind. It carries a vibration into the way you move, speak, choose, and receive. A self-destructive thought contracts the energy. You may shrink. You may apologize too much. You may doubt what you know. You may hide your gifts. You may lower your standards. You may enter life as though you are asking permission to exist. Supportive thoughts open the energy. You breathe more deeply. You stand more firmly. You feel more available to good. You stop sending the silent signal, I am not worthy. You begin to carry an inner message. I belong to life. I am allowed to receive. I am allowed to heal. I am allowed to be loved. This does not mean you never feel pain. It means pain no longer becomes the only frequency you broadcast. You become more spacious, more receptive, more aligned with love. And life often meets us at the level we are learning to allow. When you begin treating yourself as worthy, you begin recognizing what is not worthy of you. When you begin speaking to yourself with love, you become less available for voices that only know how to diminish you. My thoughts create my energy, and I choose the energy of love. Now, how do we practice this in real life? The first practice is simple awareness without judgment. You do not begin by fighting every negative thought. Fighting often gives the thought more energy. You begin by noticing, this is a fear thought. This is a self-criticism thought. This is an old memory. This is a comparison habit. This is shame speaking. When you name it, you create space between you and the thought. You are not swallowed by it anymore. You can notice a thought without becoming the thought. This is a very powerful skill. A thought can pass through the mind the way a cloud passes through the sky. You do not have to climb onto every cloud and travel with it. You can watch it. You can breathe. You can let it move. The second practice is the filter question. Does this thought support me? This question is the heart of this entire teaching. When a thought makes you smaller, when it fills you with shame, when it makes you panic, when it makes you hate yourself, pause. Ask, does this support my healing? Does this help me act with wisdom? Does this bring me closer to peace? If the answer is no, you can say, thank you for trying to protect me, but I do not choose this thought anymore. This is important because many negative thoughts are old protection mechanisms. They think if they scare you enough, you will be safe. If they criticize you enough, you will improve. If they predict rejection, you will avoid pain. But you can thank the mind for trying and still choose a new way. I lovingly refuse thoughts that hurt me, not with violence, not with panic, with love. No, dear thought, you may pass by. You do not get to live here. The third practice is to replace the thought with something more loving. Do not only push the old thought away. Give the mind a new path. If the old thought says, I always fail, offer, I am learning, and every step teaches me something valuable. If the old thought says, no one loves me, offer, I am open to love, and I begin by loving myself. If the old thought says, I am not good enough, offer, I am enough, right now, and I am still growing. If the old thought says, everything will go wrong, offer, life supports me, and I can handle one step at a time. Notice that these new thoughts do not deny reality. They do not say everything is perfect. They simply stop turning pain into punishment. They give the mind a road toward healing. The fourth practice is to create a mental diet. Think of the mind as you think of the body. If the body receives only things that exhaust it, you do not expect it to feel light and strong. In the same way, if the mind is fed constantly by comparison, panic, gossip, judgment, fear, and noise, it may become heavy. A mental diet does not mean you avoid all difficult truths. It means you become conscious about what you consume and repeat. Limit what triggers endless comparison. Spend less time with content that makes you feel small. Choose voices that encourage healing. Read things that soften the heart. Write gratitude, even if only one sentence. Spend a few minutes in silence. Listen to words that remind you of your worth. Protect the inner space as though it matters, because it does. You have the right to protect your inner world. Not every opinion deserves entry. Not every person's fear belongs inside your mind. Not every piece of information is for this season of your life. You may say, I feed my mind with love, beauty, peace, and truth. Then practice it in ordinary ways. Turn off what drains you. Choose what nourishes you. Let your inner garden receive better seeds. The fifth practice is patience when old thoughts return. Negative thinking is often a habit built over many years. So if a fearful thought comes back, do not say, I failed. You did not fail. You are practicing. Every return of the old thought is another chance to choose differently. Healing is not one perfect decision. Healing is many loving returns. Every time you choose a loving thought, you build a new pathway within you. The mind learns through repetition, not harsh repetition, gentle repetition. You are not beating the mind into peace. You are training it with love. Again and again you say, this is not the thought I choose. Again and again you offer a kinder one. Again and again you water the healing bowl. Now, if you want to gather a few thoughts to keep near you, let them be simple. Let them be soft enough for the body to receive. I accept only thoughts that support me and make me feel good. I choose loving thoughts about myself and my life. My mind is a safe and peaceful place. I release thoughts that do not serve my highest good. I am willing to think in ways that heal me. I am safe now. All is well. My body can relax. Life supports me in every possible thrust. I deserve thoughts that are kind, beautiful, and true. You do not need to repeat all of them at once. Choose one. Let one thought become a small lamp. Carry it through the day. When fear knocks, return to it. When shame rises, return to it. When comparison tries to enter, return to it. One loving thought can interrupt an old pattern. One kind sentence can change the direction of the inner atmosphere. My dear, you do not need to believe every thought. This is freedom. You do not need to invite every fear to dinner. You do not need to make a home for every old criticism. You do not need to let the weeds of fear grow wild and then call them destiny. Your mind is a sacred garden. You are allowed to tend it. You are allowed to say no to thoughts that hurt you. You are allowed to nourish thoughts that make your body soften, your heart open, your energy brighten, and your life become gentler. This is not pretending. This is choosing. This is healing. This is becoming a loving guardian of your own inner world. So today, place one hand on your heart and one hand on your mind, if you like. Thank the mind for trying to protect you. Then whisper, from now on, we choose thoughts that support us. We choose thoughts that heal. We choose thoughts that bring us back to love. And as you keep choosing one thought at a time, the bowl changes, the garden changes, the inner voice changes, and little by little, life begins to feel less like something you must survive and more like something you are allowed to bless. Choose the thought that loves you back, and all is well in your world.